How's everyone doing today? Great! Okay, it's great because I don't feel your energy level today. I know it's a Friday night. I know we should be having a beer or a drink at somewhere else, but no? Alright, good. But yeah, how's everyone doing today? Can I hear that again? Thank you. Please give yourself a round of applause for stepping yourself to the room here. Alright, I'll be your MC today, and I will be also. I'm actually very honored to be able to do this MC today for Dr. James for BOM. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sean. I'm actually a psychology major, and I'm running my family business. My family business since I came back from the States in 2011. And this was me when I first came back attending my friend's convocation. So, I really did not like myself being as cute, as trendy as I was. But I went to the gym, very hardworking, like 4 days a week, or maybe 3 days a week. And yeah, that was me on the first day of Tier 90. And that was actually taken last year, November. 1st of November, when I was first introduced to Tier 90 program. And after 66 days, this was me. And of course, 42 days, and that was history. And this is and of course, for me, it gets better and better from day-to-day basis. And it would be funny if I start taking off my shirts and showing everyone something different. But anyway, I would like to share a little bit about myself and how did I get into this wonderful business, and also this amazing opportunity that all of you have decided to come today to find out more what is it all about. Okay, actually in 2014, last year, October, that was my first time when I heard about Nu Skin. Actually, thanks to my angel, my brother, Chia, basically Dr. James' elder son, we were in the same school, same university in the States. I was in University of Lincoln, Nebraska, and I was a psychology major, as I mentioned, and Chris was an actual science major. So, the Chris that I know, when we were in university, what do? We drink, we party, we do this and that. But Chris is a guy who will never ever party. He will never ever do something else except studying and going to the gym. So when he was back and he told us that he's in this financial institution working as a financial planner or something like that. I wasn't very sure what he was into that time. And then suddenly in 2014 January, he started texting us and saying that he will be going to Shanghai. So I was like, oh, amazing! You got promoted and you are going to Shanghai for your a new different environment for your work. So until August, and he started sharing pictures about himself on the program about R-Square, and I was like, okay, what is Chris actually doing? I never ever thought that Chris would actually be in a multi-level marketing business, because when a friend or a very good friend of you are in a multi-level marketing business, you'll be like, what is he actually doing? And I never thought that Nu Skin has such amazing platform. And so, as a friend, when your friend is in multi-level marketing, and why did I even decided to find out more about multi-level marketing is because of a friend. So he is so down to earth. And for me, I came back from the States working 4 years with my family business. I was like, okay, let me find out more what is it all about. And Chris decided to send out a message in the group saying that, okay, Dr. James will be in town in October for Make Forum events. So he invited all of us, but none of them replied. And it was 11 p.m. at night. So I was like, okay, so Chris, as a friend, I should give face. And I decided to, okay, let me go. And I did not know that actually why the event was held and what the event is all about. I decided to just go and find out more to what was in my mind to pull him out of the deep mud. Alright? I do not know why I had that idea because, first of all, let me just slightly explain why I did not like MLM initially. Because a lot of times, multi-level marketing has been related to binary or sort of a lot of scams that we heard, pyramid scheme. And of course, Malaysia is so amazing that a lot of people are taking this opportunity to make quick money. So for me, I was having the mindset to be the white knight to save my friend from this business. And I did not know Dr. James is actually in this business. So I did not know his dad is actually in this business. So I came to the forum and I met Dr. James, and I was so prepared, to be honest, I was so prepared to answer whatever questions that Dr. James is going to ask. Because you know what, MLM people will be asking how much you earn, how much you done, how much you that, and how much money you are making. But surprisingly, the 4 questions that Dr. James asked had nothing to do with money. Alright, I was actually stunned by the 4 questions that he asked that day. He asked, the first question is, what are you doing? And as in, what is your business all about? And the second question is, what is your vision in what you're doing right now? And thirdly is, what you are planning to do? And the fourth question is, are you willing to do so? Alright, I run my family business in this janitorial cleaning services for corporates. Okay, and my dad has been running it for the past 26 years. And if you ask me if I'm willing to do that for the next 26 years, my answer is no. Okay, but at that moment, because of my ego, I have to say yes, right? That is very, very normal. So, so I was very lucky that and I'm very anticipated after hearing the sessions by Dr. James and also the invited speaker Lee He-Yang that day. So, and I would like to take this opportunity actually to thank to a lot of people. And first of all, I would like to thank David, who spent 2 hours. Actually, all of them spent 2 hours with me. We have David and Jack, Jim and Hong Kong, and of course my kid. Yeah, my kid also spent a couple of hours explaining whatever it is. And last but not least, I would like to thank the entire MADE KL. I mean, I am not I don't have any relationship with MADE actually. I mean, maybe sideline yes, but I'm sort of like an orphan in KL. Me and Jolene is an orphan in KL, and but MADE KL, the MADE family has been treated us like a team, like a family, and I really felt like being at home during this journey. And Dr. James had always reminded me, always enjoy the journey, no matter what you're doing. And that's actually during Dr. James sharing, a lot of things that actually became my how should I say that, things that have been the back of my mind every day. So it always comes back and forth, back and forth. But without further ado, let me invite Dr. James on the stage. And before I invite Dr. James, let me share a little bit about Dr. James and why I think I'm so honored to come be on the stage to share what his story with every one of you. Okay, so well, Dr. James is actually my mentor who I very, very high respect to. And why is it? Because first of all, he has a PhD in civil engineering, and he used to work in construction. And at the age of 41 years old, he decided to make a change in his life and went into financial planner. And of course, he obtained his CFA paper, and he has a master in he has a master in financial planning. So, and of course, he is also a lieutenant colonel in Singapore Armed Force Guard Unit and was Singapore Armed Force National Serviceman of the Year in 1995. And yes, and for me, he is actually a perfectionist in giving his best in doing whatever he is doing. And yet, at the age of 47, how many of you are 47 this year? Or maybe way above 47. Okay, he decided to change his profession and went to a multi-level marketing business called New Skin. So, without further ado, let me pass the mic to him and let him share his vision, and of course, sharing his what he see in New Skin, and he made the decision to come into this business. All right, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. Okay, it seems to me that I make several good decisions in life, isn't it? I think the best decision I made was to get married to a Malaysian. My wife is from Kuching, actually. Okay. And I'm a playful type, so I chose a university in a country that no one has ever heard of. I never heard of in New Zealand. We're more sheep than human beings. I went there to be a good student, and this Malaysian girl went to interrupt my studies by tackling me. But no regrets there. Okay. Sean, thank you for being here. Sean, I've tried my whole life to say things that will motivate my son, my children, and that's not possible as parents. But now he's got Sean down there motivating him from below, making him do sensible things. So thank you, Sean. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about big business opportunity. Okay. Now, everyone says come and listen to a big business opportunity, isn't it? And why would you come on a Friday night when you can be drinking, dancing? You can do that afterwards. Or why would you come here on any night to come and if it's not for a big business opportunity? But honestly, I never pitched it as a big business opportunity. When I saw New Skin, it was for other things. But today, and right now, I think it's a big business opportunity. So I will share with you a bit more. It'll be clearer as I go through this presentation why it's a big business opportunity today. Now, recently our founding Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, passed away, and this was what it was. Singapore was not even a cat. If you recall the history, when we became part of Malaysia, we were so happy because we were nothing. And to be part of Malaysia was a big deal, and it was the same people. But when we were asked to leave, gosh, suddenly no home, no nothing, no hinterland, no nothing. But that man was respected so much because he transformed Singapore into something big. And I want to show this not so much to talk about Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, but to show that how this business is capable of becoming from something very, very small to something unimaginable. Because Singapore has become something, to Singaporeans in those days, something unimaginable. Of course, the young people that grow up today, they just complain why, because this was how it was, but it was not like that at all. And many of us, when we come here, we want to look for some opportunity. Obviously, is to have things better than it is now. And we may be thinking of survival. I'm saying that with this opportunity, it will be something far beyond your imagination. Like, who would think that cat can become like that? And honestly speaking, if you spend your time here on a Friday to find out a bit more about this would be the best thing that you could have done with your time. Okay. Now, I want to share with you a little bit of the basics of what I'm speaking about. Now, this book, The Financial Planner's View of MLM, is a book I wrote 12 years ago. Okay? So I'm speaking from a financial planner's point of view. So a lot of the sharing there will be from that background. But it also has a lot to do with who's familiar with this rich dad, poor dad, this cash flow quadrant? If you're familiar, can you raise your hand? Okay, so there are some who are not familiar. Okay, basically, Robert Kiyosaki, who came up with this illustration, talks about how on the left side you've got the employee and you've got self-employed people. Okay? And basically what they do is they work for money. Okay? They work to earn money. And on this
side, the right side, you have the business owner and you have an investor. And these are the people where money works for them. Okay? So his question is, which side you want to be on? Okay? Now, most of us are familiar with that, but let me give you a clue. 95% of the population is here, but they own 5% of the wealth. 95% of the wealth are owned by these people. Okay? And these people are the rich, these people are the poor. So if you've been working for some time, you want to be on this side. Okay? The only disappointment I have about my son coming out and doing this business so early is that he never suffered long enough down here to appreciate that. That's my only sort of slight regret. Okay, so it is with this in the back of the mind that we want to actually come and run a business, okay, and get away from being on this where the majority of the people here. So if you are here, you are definitely not the majority. The majority wouldn't be here on any night. Don't talk about a Friday night, and pay 5 ringgit to come in here some more, You probably thought your guest would bring you to a 50 ringgit supper after that. Okay, so he will. Okay, now, a financial planner basically manages risk, okay, and it manages reward. Now, the risk part, is the insurance part. It's very simple. It's something that you must do. you must buy car insurance, you must buy travel insurance, you must buy health insurance and all that. And so most people will do that. But when it comes to the reward type, having extra money by investing, sometimes people say this is optional. There is risk. I don't need to be rich, But I want to say to you that this part is a must, because if you are going to live a long life, the facts of life is that you need money, okay, and that you need to do something to invest your money, or to do something to invest your time, in order that you have more than just managing more than just risk. Okay? So this idea of having a big income is very important idea. Okay? Now the current reality is that most of us have a job, okay, and that's 100% of your own effort, okay, and that's high risk, okay? Because if anything happens to you, who's going to take care of your spouse? Who's going to take care of your children? Who's going to take care of your parents? So most people know this today, and they will start a business. Okay? But today, if you start a business, I say it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, simply because of the internet. With the internet, you can know exactly what your competitor is doing. And the classic example is your handphone and all this. I always wonder, these handphones and all that, why do you put a screen protector? Because by the time before you can even scratch your screen, a new model has come out, isn't it? Now, so you laugh, you say, "Alamak, I waste money on a screen protector." Can you imagine the company how much R&D and all that is wasted to developing a product that before it can recoup its money, it's got to produce a new one. So it's no different. If you do a business today, you're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to keep ahead of the competition. And I say that's low risk. Okay? So it's not a very good situation when as you grow older, you have an income model that's high risk and low risk. Okay? So, you've heard about the sandwich class, and the sandwich class basically, you've got one side of the sandwich are your children. So this is someone who's around late 40s, 50s, where the children are going to university, and on the other side is your late 40s, 50s, your parents are getting old, they got their medical costs, okay? And if you're in your late 40s, 50s, your job, your business is at risk. Okay? So this is the sandwich class. Okay? Any money you think that you're going to accumulate for your retirement is being dwindled. So when you finally stop work, you've got hardly anything that's going to last. It has to last you to 100, 90, 100 plus. Okay, that's a pretty scary situation. And I want to share with you that this is a newspaper article, and this is the Prime Minister of Singapore. He says, "I understand the anxieties of the sandwich class." He says, parents want to give their kids a very good education. So not just have education, but a very good education with like Sean, many of you, you want to send your children overseas, isn't it? So the cost is very much different. Okay, it's not, it's to university and postgraduate. Okay. They're taking care of elderly parents, and they're concerned about job security. That's what's happening with the middle class. You know, if you're 45, 50 years old, what is it that you can do that a 30-year-old, 35-year-old, you know, with 10 years experience in a newly developing market, what is it that you can do that he can't do cheaper, faster? Okay, so this is a real concern. Okay, and these are some examples, newspaper clippings from Singapore. It will be the same in Malaysia. So here, widow welcomes help as cost of living rises. It's talking about 80-year-old retired kindergarten teacher. You know, I mean, from the article here, she's 80, she's still got many years to go, and she's, you know, she's worried about the cost of living. Here you've got, it says, wife's medical bills, a big expense for retiree. So you're talking, this is talking about a couple, both 73 years old. His wife, you know, is sick and he's worried about how he's going to continue paying medical bills. 73 years old, he's probably not working. And this is a classic example. Help for 102-year-old mom, 67-year-old daughter. So the daughter is 67 years old. It's like, probably not working, isn't it? Or having to work at 67 is pretty rough. But mother is 102 years old. Okay, what kind of medical care that she needs and all that. This is a pretty uncomfortable situation to be in. Okay. Now we go to the US, okay, which has been aware of this problem of the baby boomers for a long time. It says baby boomers who often have to care for ailing parents and support their children while trying to navigate their own lives are in over their heads. Many are finding it impossible to retire. It's the same the whole world over. So you say, okay, this is Singapore, Malaysia, US, we are more developed. Okay. But let me show you this article from The Economist in April 2014. Okay. This is talking about a huge strike in southern China shows that migrant workers are starting to demand more than just higher work wages. So these angry workers, they are the migrant workers, you know, low-level workers, they're raging about an issue few cared much about until recently, their pensions. Low-skilled workers entering middle age are getting increasingly nervous. Without decent pensions, they complain life is going to be tough. I mean, the whole world over, people are waking up to the fact. And I like to show this because I don't know about you guys, I think you guys are more clued up. Okay, but in Singapore, you know, we're just completely oblivious to the dangers that are ahead, that the whole world is aware of. Okay. So why do multi-level marketing? Okay. It's because this situation is not a good situation, and a famous American billionaire said, I'd rather earn 1% from 100 people than 100% from my own effort. Because 1% from 100 people, if anything happens to me, there's 99 other people looking after my spouse, looking after my children, looking after my parents. And that's what I call low risk, okay? Low risk. But you know, none of us plans to, you know, to be disabled or to be unemployed and all that. You know, I mean, that's pessimistic side of things. You know, we all want to go and travel, go on holiday and all this. Okay? So if I go and leave for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, there's 99 other people working for me to feed my spouse, my children, and my parents. And that's what I call high risk. And I mean, that's a far more preferable model, is the low risk and high risk. Okay. In fact, right now as I speak, okay, I'll mention that. So this is what we call leverage. Okay. Leverage is what everyone in the finance sector. That's how we borrow a little bit and we own a house. You know, don't put down. We borrow a lot. We put down a little bit and we own a house. You know, you all came upstairs either by the lift or the escalator. That's a form of leverage. If you walk, it's a bit more difficult. Okay, so everyone uses leverage. But what is leverage? To me, leverage is more than just one. Okay. There are two ways at looking. When you look at MLM and you see this, you know, you imagine this pyramid. There's two ways at looking at it. Some people get excited because, oh, this is very, very big. You know, but a lot of people also say, wow, it's so big. How can I, you know, how can I build something so big? How can I succeed when we involve so many people? You know, and then if you're like me, you say, one wife already I cannot handle, how do I handle a big organization like this? You know, but so I never looked so big. To me, leverage was just more than one. Okay, if I just found one person, it's already 50-50, half the effort, so much. So for me, you know, I never thought so big. You know, they say, how's your business? I said, fantastic, I got one person. She's better than just me, myself. Okay? So let's use the number 3. Okay? I use the number 3 because it's easy for me to multiply. 3 I can multiply. Okay? And it's also, in Singapore, they say have 3 children. So, you know, okay, I understand, have 3 children. Okay? So I find 3 people who want to do this business. So I teach them how to do this business. So if it's new skin last time, you know, with just skincare, someone got to teach the guys, you know, that there's, you know, different soap for the hair and for the face and for the body, all this kind of. So I teach them how to do the business. Then I help them to find 3 people. Okay, so 9, 27, 81, 243, 729. We get a total of 1092. So let's round it off to 1,000. So let's say over time you find 1,000 partners. And let's say each one just sells US $2,000 worth of products. Okay? 1,000 times 2,000 is 2 million. Okay. Now, I ask you to come to a big business opportunity, and I tell you every month you only need to sell 2,000. That's not big business, isn't it? Huh? So, from a business point of view, if you run this business, you only have to sell $2,000. It's actually very easy. The big is because, you know, when you finally find the people, it's 2 million. Okay? So the company pays, let's say the company pays you 5% commission for all the sales. 5% times 2 million is 100,000 US dollars a month. Okay, is that enough for retirement or not?
Yes.
I think you too much. You get into trouble with 100,000. Okay. Now, but from a business point of view, so if you tell an employee 100,000, yeah, he says fantastic, you know. But if you tell a businessman 100,000 and you tell him that he doesn't need to put in any capital, that he doesn't need to pay any overheads. Now downstairs you see the New Skin office. There's offices like this in 52 other countries. They are working for me, but I don't have to pay their salaries.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. Okay, and I start a business immediately like this. Okay. I don't need any experience. You don't need any experience to come into this business because you will learn on the job or things that you can do already. And the best thing of it is you can do it part-time. Now there's no business that you can do part-time or no, you know, without, unless you are the one putting in all the money and taking all the risk. Okay. If you are not putting in the money and you're doing this business, you're putting in the time, working 20 hours a day. You talk to anyone who's got a startup, the kind of hours that they put in. But this one, you can do part-time. You can try it out first while you're doing your present job. Okay? It's exactly like when how you first got married. Didn't suddenly say, hey, I like you, marry me. No, you go dating for a while, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, so you're allowed to date us. You can do part-time. But it has to be real time, physical. You know, not everyone tell you can't date a person now online. You end up with a guy or video. Okay, and then there's huge potential. So there's Singapore here. Sorry, this one is a Singapore slide. Okay, you know there's Malaysia, 30 million, 30 now, yeah. Okay, so together about 30 something. And then there's China, 1.4 billion. There's India, 1.1 billion. There's Indonesia, 250 million. We have all these races in our country. Okay. And I just put Vietnam here because 90 million people, and then there's still the rest of the world. Okay, so there's huge potential. But I think our country is enough. Okay, so I just want to come back to my story a bit. How I came into this business. Would you be interested to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So I actually New Skin is my fourth career change. Okay. Because my first career that I wanted to do after I finished school in Singapore, we got to go and serve in the army for 2.5 years. So when I finished the army, the alternative is studying, and I didn't really like studying. Okay? So I actually wanted to make the army my career. But at that time, I thought if something went wrong in the army, I need something to fall back on. So I thought, just go and get a degree. Go to some place so far away where you cannot get into trouble. That was my first. So I went into civil engineering. Then I stayed on, and I didn't graduate until I was 29 years old, and I finished with a PhD in civil engineering. Okay. So after 8 years away, I decided, forget about the army, a bit too old to charge hills. So I decided to become an engineer. I was in the construction sector as a contractor. And I remember at age 40, I hadn't been on leave for 5 years. In construction, I was bored. I was looking for a challenge. So I just dropped everything and I went to sell life insurance. Okay. At that time, to sell life insurance, you didn't need any qualifications. Don't even need O levels and all that. Now in Singapore, you need to pass all kinds of investment examinations and all that. I don't know what it's like in Malaysia, but definitely the standards are far higher. At that time, anyone could do it. So that was the environment. I just dropped all my qualifications and I went there to just take part in this. Okay. I went back to school. I did a master's in applied finance at National University of Singapore. I got my CFA qualifications, and things were pretty okay. Okay. Until 2001. Okay. 2001, this guy called me. Okay. This is my sponsor, Tan Jun Wen. Bit of his background. Okay. So he grew up poor. He grew up poor, and but he was a dreamer, so he wanted a better life. In fact, his family lived on this Pulau Brani. His mother was a cleaner for the British Army, and he likes to say that the family, 8 of them, they all share one toilet. So that was his background. Okay. But when he called me, he said New Skin had just come into Singapore, and that he'd sign up to do the business. Now, what surprised me was the fact that this guy went to the top school in Singapore, actually did well and got a top government scholarship. Okay, came back, worked for the current Prime Minister in the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and they had to serve an 8-year bond, and it's pretty comfortable in Singapore. You probably heard rumors about how much our civil servants get paid. But after 4 years, he wasn't satisfied. He left. Now, when you break your 8-year bond, you leave after 4 years. You got to pay the difference. When he left after 4 years, and he went into a completely different field, which he had no experience. He went to stockbroking. Okay. When he called me in 2001, he was 42 years old, had been in stockbroking for maybe 14, 15 years. Okay, and was very successful because this is the home that he built for himself with money made from stockbroking. Okay, it's worth about 25 million ringgit at that time. So now it's more than double the price. Okay. So I asked myself, why is a guy like him, doing a business which I thought was